evening, everyone, and welcome to PSBN's most popular program, Pretend Football Now. My name is Syke Manders, and with me is Mal Paderos. Mal, we are approaching the apex that all teams, many of them now defeated, have sought the entire time. I, of course, am talking about the NJC FFL World Championship of Pretend Football.
Yeah, it's going to be rather amazing to see how this 16-team field, which has been whittled down to only 2 contenders, how they are going to battle it out for the World Championships, and how the other 14 league members suffer with the side effects of Fed.
That is true. There has been some Fed going around. We tried to spread some awareness of it, in the last broadcast. Hopefully, we've done some good.
I hope we have. And speaking of the last episode, are you feeling any better?
I am feeling fantastic. I went to a hypnotist.
Oh.
And they did some sort of gypsy voodoo magic, and now I'm back in fine form.
Well, it's good to hear, and let's get right to the action. Now, our first semifinal featured the number 3 overall seed, the Sharpsville Gravy Lakes, hosting the Tinky Winky Stinky Pinkies in a super smack talk charged grudge match that saw the new guard take down the old 102-79. Now, Julio Jones led the G Lakes with 28 points, and Golden Tate added a strong 22 on Monday night, helping Coach Cooter to his perfect roster. Now, that doesn't happen very often, everybody out there, so we should all give him a hand. Well done, Coach. I mean, hopefully, knowing that you made all of the right decisions last week will give you some semblance of comfort and joy this holiday season. Now, on the winning end, rookie coach Odessa was led to victory on the back of the diminutive Danny Woodhead, who scored not 1, not 2, but 4 touchdowns en route to a massive 36 points. Jeez! Tyrod Taylor added another 26, while the Bengals defense had a shutdown effort with 13 points of their own. Now, ultimately, the wave of breaks that keep happening for what is commonly known throughout the league as the luck sacks has many owners around the NJC FFL scratching their heads. But it's on to the championship matchup they go, and a bid for the Pretend World Championship on the line.
In high stakes games like these, it's only ever so clear where the incision has to be made to sunder the gap between winner and loser. It's time for Syke's scalpel to do the cutting. Now, while the smack talk was certainly there for the surging Robocops and the NJCFFL's very own degenerates, the Bill Brunoists, you've heard the lines before. With the Robocops, they said the Brunos were coming with them dead or alive, and of course it was countered by a very resounding suck it. On the road, the Robocops had been all but invincible during the playoffs, led by Doug Baldwin's Loctite hands with 20 points and the ever-dependable puffy-cheeked plate-eating wonder Greg Olson with 19 points. The team performed admirably. But the piece that would ultimately save the Robocops from a crushing playoff loss was Amari Cooper. He was busy, not on the field, warming the bench with a stupendous 32 points. Bench blues right there, Coach Flip. Bench blues. That one mistake sent the Robocops right to the scrap heap at Bill Bruno Memorial Stadium. Now, while defending home ground, the Brunoists dug in their heels to resist the early Robocop lead and led the countercharge with Cam Newton launching 45 points into the air. His biggest game ever recorded so far by mortal men. Now, Super Cam was literally unstoppable and took the team on his ubermensch shoulders to make up for the awful play at the starting line. AP and AJ, not so good, fellas. Combined, you scored 10 points. It's truly, truly horrific stuff. It was a good thing that Super Cam had his face turn to Earth's yellow sun, fueling the alien perfection that he exhibited during game day. Now, Coach Flip could only look on in horror as the Robocops couldn't match up, and the Brunoists went on as they are going on now to face the Stinky Pinks in the World Championship of Pretend Football. That's all I gotta say from Psych Scalpel, so hey, let's take it away. Well, Maul, it's time for us to have a battle of ideas in this upcoming match. This test of champions, the final arena. Who are you putting your weight behind?
Well, it's obvious to me that the only team that anyone should really get behind in this particular matchup is the #1 overall seed, the best team all season, the Bill Brunoists. I mean, their roster is stacked, and we have all seen just what Superman can do. Cam Newton has been on fire. Kylan has been phenomenal with his roster moves. His draft was outstanding, and I honestly believe that if Adrian Peterson and AJ Green come to play next week, there is absolutely zero chance that the Bill Brunoists do not take home the MAC trophy.
And that's a good opinion to have. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to advocate for the Pinkies. And I'll tell you why. Cam Newton is a star-eating monster.
He is.
And the thing about star-eating monsters, as we all know from reading old Fantastic Four comics, is that they cannot continue indefinitely. Now, he's playing the Falcons. That is definitely a favorable matchup. But if he doesn't take the team on his shoulders, if Adrian Peterson, who is injured, and AJ Green, who has God knows who's throwing him the football, if they stumble and Cam Newton isn't there with his invincible alien arms to clasp them tightly to his bosom, I think the team falls apart. I think that if Cam Newton doesn't perform, the Pinkies are going to take this one because when you look at the matchup on paper, they're just going to score more points with their players.
Hey, that's absolutely balderdash. I don't think anyone can agree with anything that you're saying. I mean, literally, they had to rely on 4 touchdowns from Danny Woodhead last week just to beat the RoboCops, who were on an absolute tear. I just don't see how they can get production from that mishmash of a roster. I'm going to go with the Brunoists. My buddy here, he's got the Stinky Pinkies. I guess we'll just have to see exactly what goes on as we pack up for the Super Bowl here in the NJC FFL, the World Championship match.
We'll see you at the Supper Bowl.
No more collusion. No more trades. No more bull hoggy. No more Fed.
Well, Maul, we've had a stupendous playoff. I mean, all those teams butting heads. You know, that gets my blood pumping. And I'm sure it does. It gets yours pumping as well.
I'm absolutely riveted. I cannot wait.
Sure, and that is when the best words of the week come in. So, Maul, what is your word of the week?
It's the best word of the week for the entire year. The word of the week that everyone's been chasing this entire season. Championship.
Hey, I can't argue with that word of the week. So, without further ado, we'll be right there along with you as you watch those scores tick up here at PSBN on Pretend Football Now. Happy holidays, everyone.
That's right.
Closing times.
Closing times.
It's like song,
Open up the door and
Hey.
let me out into
newest radio hit in
the
Moscow.
world.
we have nothing new in Moscow.
He just knocked off the band tattoo. T-A-T.
Yeah, it's
All
true.
the things she says.
It's true. It's very catchy too.